This is Dr. Bill Schenck, Clinic Director and Wellness Expert at Vizuri Health Center. Today we're going to be talking about detox for weight loss resistance. Over the dozens of years I've been in practice, I've met so many thousands of people that have had challenges losing weight. What if there is a way for you to effectively start the process and then can continue it so you can safely and effectively lose weight? Well, one of the things that can prevent you from doing that, if you've been one of those people who yo-yoed with your weight, or you've really been challenged with this and not been successful, is that maybe you haven't gone through a detox first to start the process. So today we're going to be talking about how to do that, okay? So stay tuned. Now, let me give you a little background, okay, before we start. And what I've discovered over the years is there's three reasons that people have really lost their health. And the first of which is that they gave away the responsibility of their health to someone else, whether that be their parent or their doctor or their pharmacist or, God forbid, their insurance company. So they failed to take responsibility for their health. And that you're even watching this video says that you're interested in doing that. So hooray. Second reason that people lost their health is that they mistake their health for how they look and how they feel. So you look in the mirror and they sense how they're feeling. They say, hey, I must be healthy, right? Well, let me ask you a question. What does cancer feel like and what does heart disease look like? The reality is that those diseases, which are number one and number two killers in America, take years, even sometimes decades to develop in the body. So you can mistake your health by just assessing how you look and how you feel. Now, the third reason that people have lost their health, well, I'll tell you that later, so stay tuned to do this. All right, let's dive right into this. So here's what we're going to cover today, all right? First is, let's differentiate between what a detox is, or detoxification, or purification, and a cleanse. They're all about the same thing. So they're nuances or semantical differences, but they're basically the same thing. We're going to use the word detox today, okay? Second is why detox is essential for your health today, especially for weight loss resistance. So we're going to cover the basics of that. Who should not go through a detox? There's a group of people that this is not for. I'll make sure we clarify that. Third is, what does it look like? What does a detox look like? Week 1, week 2, like how do you do this? And give me an idea of what it looks like. We'll cover that. I want you to be successful. So we set the stage for success. And I'll tell you the steps that people have gone through the success successfully. What do they do in preparation and how do they go through this? So let's first define what detoxification is. What is a detox? Basically what it is. Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to facilitate or optimize the ability of the body to lose its toxins. So we work with supplements and nutrients to allow the body to cleanse the liver and the kidneys and the bowels so that when you are detoxing, you get rid of the toxins. But at the same time, we have to reduce the incoming load of toxins coming into the body. So think about it as if you're a bucket, if you will. We're going to stop pouring the dirty water in. At the same time, we're going to open up the channels of elimination going out. That's what a detox is basically. So where do the toxins come from? Well, let me just tell you a quick story. Just share something that normally our body every day creates toxins. As part of the normal metabolic process, our body creates waste, creates toxins. We have to get rid of those. That's why you exhale. That's why you have a bowel movement. That's why you urinate. These are things that our body normally does every single day. But there's also a challenge that we have environmental toxins that are above and beyond what our body normally accumulates. Environmental toxins come from our food, in our air, and our water. These are things that our body absorbs, and our body has to eliminate these. The challenge is that there's so many toxins coming in, it overwhelms our detox ability, and they get stored in the body. And then there's man-made toxins. These are things that that man has made as part of our environment now. And there's cosmetics, and there's also medications. Medications have two effects in the body. There's the therapeutic benefit of medications, but also there's the cumulative toxic effect that oftentimes builds up over years. And the last is heavy metals. Heavy metals, whether that we consume them, whether they're injected into us, or whether they're put in our teeth. Heavy metals are one of the most toxic things in the body, and there's a safe way to get rid of those. We're not going to be covering that today, okay? But let's talk about then why toxins prevent weight loss. But first, let's just talk about the types of toxins. The first type of toxin is water soluble. Okay, these are things that are easy to dissolve in water, and they're kind of easy. They're simple to eliminate with water. These aren't the problem chemicals. These come in and they go out readily. So those are not part of the issue. Okay, we lose them through our sweat and through our urine for the most part. But the fat-soluble toxins, those are the dangerous ones because they dissolve in fat and they readily go into the body and stay in the fat. So where do the cells, what are the cells with fat? Well, obviously fat cells are, right? But also the brain cells and the nerve cells have high amounts of fat. In fact, if you were to drain the water from the brain cells, about what's left over is 60% fat. And toxins that are fat-soluble toxins love to go there. They're also fat is found in organs and especially in the liver. We're seeing today a condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. This is when fat accumulates, especially in the liver, and it creates a problem. It's happening in epidemic levels today. And that's where toxins are often stored, are in the liver and other organs. And obviously, fat and fat cells too. So toxins that reside in fat cells have a unique effect on the body. They don't typically leave the fat. They like to stay in there. And if you were to go through a weight loss program and leave lots and lose some of your fat, the toxins, if you're not opening the channels of elimination, simply move from one fat cell to some other fat in the body. And it could be another fat cell, or it could be your brain or one of the other organs of the body. Not a good idea. So if you're going to go through a weight loss program, it's ideal to be able to lose the toxins at the same time. Okay, when toxins are in a fat cell, they cause the fat cells to dysfunction. One of the things that fat cells will do then is they release an excessive amount of a chemical or hormone called leptin. You may have read about or heard about leptins. These are the signals the body normally uses to be able to tell your body that says, hey, I've had enough to eat, stop eating, okay? When your fat cells create an overabundance of leptins, the brain then down-regulates or stops making the receptors for leptin. So you keep sending these signals that says, hey, I've had enough to eat, and the brain never hears it because the receptors are gone or tremendously diminished. So you never get the signal that says stop eating, okay? So you continue to eat, and guess what happens? It goes into the body, and then you store the extra calories, guess where? That's right, it's fat. And so it just accumulates and makes the problem even worse. And I'm sure particularly people, if those of you who are listening have gone through some what we call yo-yo dieting. So you lose weight, but then you gain it back, and sometimes, unfortunately, even more. Those are some of the most harmful things that you can do. Oftentimes people ask, well, where do these toxins come from? How do I get them, and how can I reduce my exposure to them? Let's start off by telling you just a story. If someone is 100 years old today, they'd be born in what year? Well, obviously 1921. So when was the first time that that person ate a non-organic food? Well, it probably wasn't until the 50s or 1960s they ate something that was not organic. And so they spent the first 30, 40 years of their life eating pretty much organic whole foods that were locally sourced and not a lot of environmental exposures also. So what happens is that this person then lives decades without poisoning their body. But let me just share some things, is that in 2002, this is from the EPA, they found almost 5 billion pounds of toxins were released in the environment, just in the United States. The Environmental Working Group in 2004, so this is what, 18 years ago now, right? 17 years ago. They measured umbilical cord blood. Now, umbilical cord blood is between the mom and the baby. The blood is shared by both of them. And here's what they found in every single sample. They found almost 300 unique toxins. Many of them were carcinogens, and even some of them were known to cause birth defects. Now, this was in the blood that's in babies. So babies unfortunately, were born toxic. They were, you started off with, with that sort of a mark against them. So that's what we're challenged with today. And the EPA did a study where they took samples from 33,000 Americans, and they took fat samples from people, and they measured to see if there was carcinogens in them. And here's what they found. Guess what? 100% of the samples had carcinogens in them. You know when they did this study? 1982. That's almost 40 years ago. It's only gotten worse since then. So we store these toxins, they stay in our fat unless we actively release them. And it's found in babies now, it's found in every person that lives in America. What about water? Well, water also can be toxic. In 42 states, it's been found to be insufficiently clean. There was a study that was done at UVM where they actually measured and they looked for the waste. They looked at the wastewater leaving the Burlington Water Treatment Center. They looked for 100 drugs. And guess what? They found drug residues in 54. They found 54 drug residues out of 100 that they looked for. And that's water being pumped out into Lake Champlain, which means it's circulating it's going to affect things down the road. So if they bring it back in, that's where a source of drinking water is. Maybe they're not changing that before we ingest it here, and the recipient on the receiving end of it. So you say, well, it just drinks a bottled water. Well, you've probably heard about BPA, bisphenol A, and how toxic this is for us. But we know, also understand, it's not just in the plastic bottles, but it's also lines, cans. It's also in cooking utensils, associated with development of type 2 diabetes. Something called POPs, or persistent organic pollutants. These are chemicals that are man-made that don't break down. We call them POPs. This is PCBs, DDT, and toxins. They have a striking relationship with dysfunctions in the body. So these things don't break down, and they continue to, as long if they're stirred back up or they redistribute in the environment, we're going to get exposed to this. And unfortunately, they disrupt our normal metabolism. Genetically modified organisms. Okay, these are things that are increasingly found in our foods. It's estimated that 80% of the food in America now is GMO sourced. Okay, big relationship between GMOs, and they continue to show evidence that GMOs linked to other diseases. There's 5 foods that have tremendous percentage of them as GMO. 95% of soy, the vast majority of corn that's grown in this country, canola oils, sugar beets. People say, I don't eat sugar beets, but sugar beets are processed into, guess what, sugar, and that's what's in many sweeteners. It doesn't even have to be labeled as sugar, but it just says sugar. And the last one is cotton, and people don't eat cotton, but we certainly consume cottonseed oils. Those are a large part of our diet in America. So these are genetically modified, have been shown to cause disruptions in our normal functions in the body. So the question is not if you're toxic, right? The question is, how toxic are you and how it's affecting your body? Essentially, if you live in America, guess what? We're all toxic, just from the very fact that we live and we eat and we breathe here. Let's back up a bit and just cover some things, okay? Types of toxins we talked about, so water-soluble and fat-soluble. And remember, the water-soluble one is not the problem. The fat-soluble ones are. And they tend to stay in the fat cells. And even if you lose fat, that fat doesn't get detoxed. It actually just gets redistributed in the body, okay? Talked about leptins, and they're linked to weight loss resistance. And that's why you're here. You want to learn how to unwind from this. We talked about the sources of toxins, where we get this stuff from. Now let's talk about who should not detox. Very important. So if you're thinking about doing this and you're on this list, don't do this, okay? First one, if you're pregnant or if you're actively trying to become pregnant, not a good time to do this. However, if you're planning on having children, a great time to go through detoxes before you try and get pregnant. Here's why. A mother detoxes about 20% of her toxic load into each baby that she has. My beautiful wife detoxed about 20 different times before we had our first child. So she gave a great gift to our children by detoxing her body, so she didn't download that into the babies that she bore and birthed. And our kids should thank her for that. They didn't even know that she did. I think they know that she did it, but didn't know the benefit of it. So again, if you're pregnant, if you're trying to become pregnant, no. But a great thing to do before you try and get pregnant is to prepare your body to give birth to a healthy baby. If you're nursing, not a good time to do that, because the body will mobilize toxins, and that will go in the breast milk. If you're an insulin-dependent diabetic, you need special attention, and you can't do a detox on your own. Okay, you need active care and regular check-ins during a detox. If you've had bariatric surgery or stomach bypass surgery or something like that, this is not a good program for you because your stomach pouch is too small. You need to be able to handle some bulk in terms of when you're doing some of the detoxing shakes. Or if you're under 16, we don't typically detox people that are under 16 years of age unless there's a very special need for that. So if you're on that list, again, don't do the detox, okay? Now, what does a detox look like? Let's just walk through this real quickly, okay? There's 3 different stages of it. This week 1, essentially it's a wind down into the detox. Weeks 2 and 3 is a full-on detox. This is when you're just regularly going through, it's all planned out, what to do each day, how to do it, what to eat during the days. Oh, by the way, you are eating during this time. This is not a fast, okay? A lot of people confuse this thinking that they're gonna have to fast during this. I've done that, that's hard to do. Unless you are in an environment that you can totally unplug from all your duties and responsibilities, I would not recommend that you do a water fast. Okay, I'm not even sure that's that good for you anymore, okay? And week 4 is you're winding up and you're really preparing You're reintroducing some normal foods now, and you're really set to start a whole new way of living, and a great opportunity for you to be healthy in that way. So let's talk about week one. So week one, remember, winding down, we're simplifying the diet. So we're making the diet really simple, making it really clean. During this time, you're introducing detoxification products, but you're eating 3 meals, okay? You're still eating, and during this whole time, you're going to be consuming food. In fact, most people, when they're going through this, say, I'm not even hungry. I don't even feel full, and it may not be able to get that third shake in during the day. Your snacks during this time, during the first part of this, you're taking half the dose of the supplements and the products that help your body to go through detoxification. And you gradually increase that over the first week. So you're doing more and more detox shakes and doing more and more supplements during this process. It's an easy transition into the detox. Weeks 2 and 3, this is what we call the full-on detox, and this is when you're going through the process of day after day in, day out. You're doing the detox. Here's what it looks like. Breakfast, you start off with a detox shake and supplements. Then a snack, you're having a low glycemic fruit. Then for lunch, you're doing another detox shake, and then you're eating some healthy greens during this time. You can pretty much, during a detox, eat as much organic green vegetables as you want, okay? Because they're going to be really good for you. Oftentimes, if somebody needs something more to bulk up on, you can go with extra organic broccoli if you want, or asparagus, or something green that's going to help your body and give you some vitality. And you're also doing the supplements to help facilitate the liver to go through a detox. Afternoon snack, you do another shake with supplements. Then for dinner, you're going to have a dinner. And during the dinner, we want you to either have a really clean fish or a legume of choice during the time, along with greens as well. Many people find that they are full throughout the day. They're never hungry during this time. So that's one of the fears that people have, is that, gosh, I'm going to be starving all the time. It's not the case. Don't hear that often at all. And if someone's like a really big guy, then that they're not being able to take much of a break from their normal activities, we simply add a little bit more protein to allow them to have a little more energy. Week 4 is when you're sort of resetting and you're slowly reintroducing more and more foods into your diet during this time. You're reducing the amount of shakes and supplements. And then what happens after detox? People oftentimes get to the end and they say this, they've never felt better in their life. They have more energy, they're sleeping better, their aches and pains are gone, and they have better energy, better bowel movements as well. They're consistent and easy, and it's just like they haven't felt this good in years. This is very common. This is a great time also to establish new healthy habits. You've just done 4 weeks of a program that's really shifted and began to change some of your habits and healthy patterns. Let's continue that. And what most people find, and at the end they say, it felt so good. Many people say, hey, how can I continue this? How can I keep going on this? And we say, you can certainly continue on this because it's a healthy lifestyle. We help you to add more calories, more protein, especially so you don't start to break down your muscle mass, because we want you to hold on to that muscle, okay? We often found that people that get the best results from this prepare well. So let me share with you some of the things that people do that have been really successful. The first is that, remember what a detox is. During the detox you're reducing the incoming toxic load while at the same time you're facilitating the body's ability to remove toxins, okay? So less bad stuff in, more good bad stuff that goes back out. That's what a detox really is. We do something called a pantry purge. So you want to take out those things in your refrigerator and your freezer and in your pantry that are going to be temptations that you know are not good for you. Don't hide that box of cookies in the back of the pantry. Just take them out. Stop the temptations so they're not even available. Okay, so we do a pantry purge and a clean in the fridge. Okay, we want you to be able to start off the detox with at least 1 bowel movement a day. If you're not doing that, then we have strategies to help you get to that place where you're moving your bowels at least once a day. Please enlist a family member and or your main support person during this time. Ideally, it'd be great if somebody in your family could detox along with you, so that you do this together, you're a lockstep and you support one another. But call in the person that you know is going to be your biggest cheerleader to help you. Just say, hey, I'm going to go through detox. Can I sort of lean on you during the time, just to have questions or just want to talk on the phone or go on a walk with me, so that you're successful with this. So set the stage for success with this. So you're also in terms of detoxing and preparation. So what are the things that are great to help prepare for this? Okay, Take out the packaged foods. Okay, these are oftentimes not things that are going to be healthy for you. Reduce caffeines, particularly you're not going to be drinking caffeine during this time. Certainly eliminate alcohol. It's not something that's healthy for your body, particularly on a regular basis. We want to remove sweeteners and artificial sweeteners, refine grains as well, reducing and eliminating dairy and eggs, and very importantly, reducing the temptations of the sweets. If you have a sweet tooth, let's say you really have like this cravings all the time, there's a wonderful herb called genema that can help you to pretty much stop your cravings for that food. And we've used it very successfully. So people say, I just don't have that craving anymore for sweets. So it's also we want you to be successful with this. Let's set the stage for how to do this so that everything's in place so you get the results that you're looking for. So people sometimes say, hey, how can you do a 28-day detox? Well, I've done several detoxes. I've done water fasts. I've done a whole bunch of different ways of detoxing. And we simply found it most effective. It just works. And it's also wonderful because it's long enough that it helps you to reestablish healthy habits. The 10 days just to try, try it out a little bit, but it's hard to change your habits in 10 days. 28 days, full 4 weeks is really critical to really reset things, help the body to go through a good cleanse, and then to start a better and healthier lifestyle. It's a perfect time then to segue into a weight loss program at the end of that. Because you've already cleaned the house, you've already stopped the cravings, you've already, established some really healthy habits for yourself. So, I say if you're going to invest 4 weeks of your life in some of your capital, let's set the stage for success. This program simply works for people. I told you about the reasons why people don't, or why we've lost our health in America, right? And it really comes down to 3 things. I told you about those. Let me just remind you of the first one. People have given away the responsibility of their health to somebody else. They no longer take responsibility. By doing a detox, guess what? You're taking responsibility for this. It's a great thing to see when someone decides to do this. The second reason that people have lost their health is that they mistake their health for how they look and how they feel. So remember, health is not about how you look or how you feel. It's about what's going on inside. And the third reason is that people procrastinate. That's right. I think we've all been there. So if this speaks to you, if this is something that you say, I really need to go through this. I've held on to these pounds for too long, particularly if you put on what we call the COVID-20. It's a really great time to go through the detox. If you feel called to do this, then contact the office. Either one of 2 ways. Call our office at 802-878-8330, and Julie will be happy to connect you with Amber and set up a time to start this process. Or you can reach out by email. It's hello@Vizuri, which is VIZURI health.com. hello@VizuriHealth.com. Or if you're a patient, stop in the office and let us know that you're interested in doing this. We'd love to help you be successful and to help you transform your life. Thank you for your time and attention, and look forward to seeing you soon. This is Dr. Bill Schenck from Vizuri Health Center. Be well.